Hello and welcome to Biz Inbox, your work life sorted. I'm Em Burnham and this is your go-to podcast for any work or career dilemmas you have. We are going to be answering them with no fluff.
I am Sarah Davidson, Em, and I've swapped the courtroom for the boardroom and the podcast room.
Ooh.
But I'm still here to help you fight your corner when work gets complicated.
So if you're dealing with like a micromanaging boss, if work office politics, or if you just want to know how to excel in your career, we are here for you. You can submit all your questions through the link in our show notes, and you can be completely anonymous if you choose to do so.
And the juicier, the better.
The juicier,
I feel like
the better,
we
please.
really thrive on the juice over here. Think of us as your work besties who aren't afraid to tell you the truth. In fact, we will lay it on heavy.
Yeah.
We enjoy the challenge. But Em, today we're helping someone whose part-time job has somehow become full-time work without the full-time pay, which we hear about over and over because apparently boundaries are just suggestions these days. We are also tackling the corporate jargon epidemic that's making every meeting sound like buzzword bingo. And
I love a buzzy.
In the legal world, it is even more dire than
Really?
in any other industry. So I can't
God.
wait for that question. But first, we're diving into a workplace philosophy crisis that's got someone questioning whether being the hardest worker in the room is actually worth it anymore.
Oh my God.
Oh, juicy.
So we got this question in our email and it has to do everything about work ethic. It said, I thrive off burnt out culture and being the hardest worker in the room. It's so demotivating seeing people set boundaries and use lazy girl work hacks. Now there's micro-retirement trending. Am I the problem? But now I'm starting to think if we have to work past the retirement age anyway because everything's so expensive, should I just change my ways?
Oh my gosh, this is a really interesting question.
I love this person just from saying I thrive off burnout culture and being the hardest worker in the room.
And also, am I the problem for being a hard worker? Like, that's not usually what the red flag is.
Oh my God. I understand this though, because I feel like and I've talked about this story so much when I first started my career, I always thought that being the hardest worker was a way of how you end up succeeding.
Yeah,
and
and prove your value.
Yeah, and I'd go all out. I'd work till like 7:30 p.m. every night in the office, regardless of what I was doing. It'd be like some menial task that didn't make any difference at all to the company whatsoever. And I just wanted to show face that I was doing it. And then yet I would see colleagues on the same level as me, like going on holiday after holiday after holiday, doing not the bare minimum, but literally just doing their job, clocking off at 5, getting there at 9, and also succeeding at the same rate I was succeeding. And then it literally took me so long to be like, this is a job. You can relax. You can still be your career and you can still like go above and beyond. But at the end of the day, you'll still be in the same spot. Like, I don't think people really look that hard into you over the stuff where you're literally killing yourself over.
100%. And I think this is weirdly morbid, but it's also valid for that exact reason. I've spent a lot of time going from an industry that is probably the leading industry when it comes to burnout culture, like the legal industry, and then the medical industry is probably the only other one that measures that level of literal ongoing burnout.
It's not just about the cute outfits.
It's not just about yes, objection. But I spent a lot of time looking into the difference between success and proving yourself and kicking career goals and putting in the hours, and the difference between that and actual joy and fulfillment and happiness in life. And one of the things that keeps coming up the most is this book called The 5 Regrets of the Dying. And it's...
Whoa, that sounds heavy.
It sounds heavy, but it actually it's the heaviness from that time of people's life that actually makes you reflect on your now with much more lightness. And one that always sticks with me is nobody ever gets to their deathbed and wishes they worked more. Right. They never wish that they spent less time with their families or less time smelling the roses and enjoying the sweeter parts of life. And I do think there has long been this attitude of save your fun for retirement, like save it for the end, work really hard your whole life. But then so many people say that their parents waited their whole lives for their own retirement and then didn't enjoy it once they got there because they kind of were past the time where they could. So on the one hand, I think this micro-retirement trend is amazing. COVID did make everyone realize, why wait? Like life is too short. But I also think that you can take that too far to the extreme and like this lazy girl culture. I think there's a middle ground where you can still go above and beyond. You don't need to go all the way beyond to burnout. I think there's a nice happy medium between total burnout and giving your entire identity to your career and then micro retirement. I think there's something in the middle.
Yeah.
Be a hard worker, enjoy your well-earned breaks. You don't need to like die on the hill of that work, but you also don't need to be so uncommitted that you don't have a clear career path.
I love that answer. And I feel like this will make this person very happy, knowing that she's not just doing all the work that her friends that are going overseas are doing, because that would definitely be me. I'd be so annoyed.
But you've also mentioned quite a few times there's a big difference between the job that you're in for the chapter you're in and then your career. So some people are just in jobs that they're doing to pay the bills. Some people are in long-term careers. If you're in your long-term career, that's where you're investing the heavy hours and the sort of staying late, or maybe not burnout culture, but definitely like putting in the hard yards.
Yeah.
But if you're just in a job that's your temporary early on in your life, 100%,
micro-retirement's for you.
100%. It just depends on.
If you're in a career and you're trying to do micro-retirements, you can't just quit and then holiday and then find another job. Like, your career will be so staggered.
Yeah,
fragmented. And it'll take you so long to actually achieve your goal. But exactly what you said, like if you're just in a job that you just need the money, get out of here.
Yeah.
Do what you want.
Do it. I think it depends where you want to be in 10 years. Ask yourself that question. If the role that your job plays in your life is just to pay the bills and you find your joy elsewhere, do it. 100%. Whereas if your career is the definition of where you want your life to be in 10 years, then maybe don't so much be leaving all the time.
Okay. Our next question is from a DM, and it says, my workplace is absolutely drowning in jargon and corporate speak, and it's driving me mental. Every meeting is full of synergies, low-hanging fruit, and circling back. It feels like we're speaking a different language. How can I help stop this madness without seeming like a killjoy?
Oh my God. All I can say, Callum, it's nothing that you do is really going to move the dial as much as you think it's going to. Move the dial upsets me so much. I'm like, no one says that in real life.
For some weird reason, I lean into the corporate jargon.
So do I.
Like, I love it. I love bringing it into my everyday. Like I say, in
into
front of my
really
parents.
Inappropriate context.
I think it makes me sound so smart. And I love that Callum, who DM'd us, I love that he is so like hard and fast and wanting to stop the
How can I stop the madness?
Like, is he going to put signs up in his office saying no more corporate jargon? Every time I have a word that's a corporate jargon, during the meeting, I just look up what it means.
Yeah.
And then it makes sense to me.
So I do think, especially like, again, coming back to lawyers, they love corporate jargon. We love a circle back. Like, we love a low-hanging fruit. It is actually unbelievable how ridiculous you can take it. But unfortunately, Callum, I think it's kind of an industry-wide thing. And I think some people, even in a funny way, they do lean into it. I don't think that you can actually stop other people around you using it. Yeah. You can just choose not to use them yourself, but short of kind of saying to everyone, you guys are really annoying, you sound stupid.
Yeah.
I think some people do lean into it because they love it.
What I would suggest for Callum is that if you pay really, really close attention to when your colleagues use corporate jargon, you will notice that a lot of them don't know how to use it correctly. Yes. And they'll be completely out of context. So the next time someone's like, oh, I think we're picking at real like low-hanging fruit, just be like, what do you mean by that?
Yeah, or be like, how low? Where is which fruit? Like, you can
and I can guarantee they would be like, I actually don't know what that word means, what that phrase means.
Point out how silly it is. Like, be like, which fruit are we speaking about? Because some fruit hangs high.
It's summer, so I'm talking about a mango.
Yeah. Also, like bananas, they're really high. They're on palm trees all the way at the top. So they're high flying fruit. Okay. Maybe if you, highlight the hilarity of it all, people will realize. But I do think that someone who's stuck on circling back, they're never going to not circle back. You just got to take them as they come.
Sometimes you need a circle back.
You do need a circle back. Yeah. I just think you got to deal with it, Callum. You don't have to use it. You don't have to adopt it. You don't have to lean in, but you might have to hear it a few times.
Okay, this last one we have from Sarah, who also DM'd us. She said, I'm paid to work part-time, but my boss keeps giving me a full-time workload and expects it all the time within my contracted hours. How do I stop this pattern without seeming difficult or uncommitted? I took this role specifically for work-life balance, but that's completely disappeared.
Oh, gosh, Sarah, this is so difficult. And I hear it over and over again, particularly mums returning to work who specifically do take a 4-day-a-week role or a 3-day-a-week job share, expecting that, I mean, the only reason they took it is because the workload is delineated as a part-time role, and almost consistently they're getting more than the hours they're paid for. And this is such a common dilemma. Like, if anything, all I want you to do is feel validated, because it's such a difficult conundrum, because if you do raise it, it is hard to do it without seeming difficult. But it's true. You're not getting compensated for the work that you're doing.
It's really true. And I wonder if, because if you're part-time in a company where majority of the workers are full-time, it can be quite unclear for management to know how much work is too much work.
Yeah.
One suggestion that I have that has worked for me in the past is literally time coding every single thing you do and showing that on a piece of paper or in a Word doc or something like that, saying at 8 a.m. I did this, then I was asked at 9 a.m. to do this, and then this and this and this, and then I had to work on this project, but I only had time to do this after hours. And like, literally, like, it's a lot of extra work to do, but you have to do more work to do less work.
Yeah.
And I think having a list of everything you've done from like your time codes from morning to night and showing like where your work falls out of hours, a manager seeing that on a doc will be like, oh my God, I didn't realize. And then I think when you visually see that, it helps you realize, oh, so this work actually is a full-time job work, so you can just do this part.
Yeah.
And I think the manager might not be fully aware that they're making
You're
their
struggling
colleague
this
like
way.
overcommit.
Yeah, I think we also do this thing where, especially as women in workplaces, we don't want to seem like the difficult one, and we don't want to raise a fuss, or I think most of us really don't like confrontation very much, so we avoid it at all costs. Or at least speaking on behalf of myself, who hates confrontation, I'll run 1,000 miles in the opposite direction. But I do think we'll often sit there seething about something and the other person's blissfully unaware. Yeah. Because we've never told them.
And you make it so big in your head, you're constantly thinking about it.
They have no idea, and it's like, well, they actually don't have any idea. So I think there is something to be said for, maybe don't bring it up at the very first conversation, chance that you have, but if it has been a recurring issue and you do feel like it's affecting your ability to enjoy your job, then do set up a meeting and have the conversation, because people can't meet the expectations that you haven't communicated exist.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's so hard. I know exactly what you mean. Like, I would hate to have that meeting. But you have to do it.
But even in like your normal relationship, sometimes I'm sitting there fuming at my husband. There's all these memes about like how wives sit there and their husbands are on this. I've like set up a timetable for you. Why aren't you following it? And he's like, you didn't tell me about the timetable. And I'm like, oh, well, that makes sense. So it's similar. It's like your boss can't live up to or help you solve a problem they don't know is a problem. So just let them know.
And I also feel like this is a fairly newish role, because she said, I took this role specifically for the work-life balance. So it's not like you were full-time and now has changed to part-time, which I think can get really murky, where a lot of women feel like they have to overcommit and do their full-time job in less days. So I think you have like the right footing to actually set the agenda and be like, hey, I took this job because I wanted to be part-time and now I'm doing a full-time job. Yeah. How do we work? Like, do I get paid for being a full-time worker, or can we like pull my hours back and actually do the work that fits into my hours?
And the other thing is, if you know anyone else in your business who does work a similar load to you, maybe you could ask them, like, find an ally in the business and be like, do you find this happens to you? If it does, what have you done about it? Has it been received well?
Oh my God, yes.
Like, find a mentor.
Yeah, get a group of them and then riot.
Yeah. Revolt. Revolution. No, but seriously, surely there's someone else in the business doing full-time.
That's such a good idea.
Doing part-time, and just ask for their feedback. Yeah. Put out some feelers, gal.
Oh, well, that is another biz inbox sorted for you. Thank you for helping us clear it. Keep those work questions coming. We'll put a link in our show notes. You can be completely anonymous, or you can have your name on it if you want to be yelled at to the abyss. You can also DM us. We have an Instagram at Biz by Mamma Mia. We are constantly putting out little question boxes for you to type in your answer, and you will always be anonymous if you choose to do so.
All our previous episodes are sitting there right there in your podcast feed. If you need to catch up, there are some really, really good ones from
really
recently
juicy ones.
that I still sit there thinking about.
Oh my God, we did one on like hooking up in the office. That was my favorite one.
I'm not sure what I would do. Oh, anyway, that keeps me up at night.
Yes, it's also on our YouTube channel, so make sure you go onto our YouTube channel if you want to actually see us live react.
I mean, the facial expressions add a lot of value. That's all I can say. We'll be back next week with more workplace wisdom. See you guys then.